Welcome to the Mentorship, where we will explore the ins and outs of physical therapy, mentorship, and lifelong learning. I'm Matthew Haley, your host, and today we're charting a new path, a path of mentorship, leadership, and professional growth. Now, if you're a physical therapist, an aspiring learner, or even just someone passionate about continuous learning, this episode is for you. We're diving into a concept that's near and dear to my heart, the role of structured mentorship in physical therapy and how it can shape not only our careers, but also the lives of our patients. And beyond that, we're going to talk about leadership. In many ways, mentorship and leadership are two sides of the same coin. I like to think of leadership as captaining a ship, the leadership. A true leader doesn't just command from the deck, they guide, mentor, and inspire their crew. And when we talk about mentorship, we're really talking about leading others towards growth and success. The best leaders don't just tell people what to do. They invest in them, they cultivate potential, and they foster a culture of learning. That's exactly what mentorship is all about. My personal journey with mentorship and leadership has been deeply influenced by my lifelong love of learning. And I have to give credit where credit is due. This insatiable curiosity was fostered by three incredible people in my life: my grandfather, my mother, and my father. Let's start with my grandfather, the smartest 8th grade educated man you've ever met. He was a diesel mechanic by trade, but his knowledge was far beyond that. Back in the 1980s, he knew more about computers and technology than most people with formal education in the field. I spent summers with him, enduring hours of watching him code just to make the colors flash on the screen. I thought he was out of his mind at the time. I also watched him embrace and adopt technology that people half his age at the time did not understand, and he seemed to have this innate understanding of how technology would shape our futures. I look back and realize he was a true visionary whose lessons taught me more than 1,000 college degrees could have. He had this ability to break things down into their fundamental components, understand them at their core, and then extrapolate that knowledge into other areas. He once explained a combustion engine to me, not as a series of parts, but as a concept, one that can be applied to problem solving in every area of life. That lesson stuck with me. It shaped how I approach physical therapy. I love breaking down complex tasks into small, digestible parts, whether that's teaching a patient an exercise or helping a colleague master a new technique. Then there's my mother. She is truly an inspiration. While I was in high school, she was going to college, all while being a full-time mom and managing multiple retail clothing stores. But she didn't stop there. She reinvented herself over and over, from retail store manager to bank teller, to director of training and development, and finally to a high-level business coach and entrepreneur. Watching her navigate that journey taught me an invaluable lesson. Growth never stops. Reinvention is always possible. And if you commit to lifelong learning, the possibilities are endless. And of course, my father. He was always reading 3 or 4 books at a time on wildly different topics. He didn't just skim the surface, he dove deep. He explored concepts from every angle. That passion for deep, meaningful learning was contagious. The influence of all three of them, along with countless others, is what led me to physical therapy, a field that requires both detailed understanding of the body and the ability to break down complex processes into manageable steps. The ability to pass that knowledge on and understanding along to your patients is fundamental to success. However, it goes beyond just passing the information on. You must foster true understanding and buy-in from our patients in order to create true behavior change and ultimately great outcomes. All of these influences shaped me into the leader and mentor I am today. They instilled in me the belief that learning isn't something you do once, it's something you do for a lifetime. And that's exactly why I was driven to create a mentorship program in our physical therapy practice. Originally, we had a mentorship program for new employees, but it lacked structure. It would often fizzle after a couple of months. The mentors and mentees were fully engaged, but sometimes seemed to stop short of the program's full potential. That's when I took a step back and asked, how can we make this better? How can we build something sustainable? So we restructured it. We created clear guidelines, designated timeframes, and a framework that made learning a continuous process. And then we expanded it to specialty mentorships. When our vestibular therapist left, I found myself in that role after just one continuing certification course, I wasn't sure I was really ready. That uncertainty made me realize that if I felt that way, others must too. So we built a mentorship structure that allows therapists to develop specialized skills in a supportive and structured way. The results? More confidence, less fear, and a stronger, more skilled team. But beyond skill building, mentorship has another benefit. It fights burnout, improves employee satisfaction, improves staff retention. Let's be honest, physical therapy can sometimes feel repetitive and the environment often demanding and overwhelming. But when you're constantly learning, constantly evolving, and engaging in new thought processes, it reignites the passion for what we do. It reminds us why we got into this field in the first place. When I think about leadership, mentorship, and learning, I always come back to the mountains. There's something about climbing a mountain that teaches you about patience, resilience, and problem solving. You don't reach the summit in one giant leap. You get there step by step, adjusting to obstacles and conditions along the way. And mentorship is the same. It's not about instantly becoming an expert. It's about steady progress, about supporting one another through the climb, and about sharing the view when we finally reach the top. So as you think about your journey, ask yourself, how can you be a learner and a leader? How can you create opportunities for mentorship in your own practice? How can you keep the fire of lifelong learning burning? Because at the end of the day, mentorship isn't just about knowledge, it's about empowerment, it's about leadership. And when we empower each other, we elevate our entire profession. I am hoping that this conversation has sparked some curiosity into how lifelong learning can be incorporated into your own practice to keep you fresh and excited about what you do daily, and maybe even inspire you to explore how a structured mentorship program may elevate not only your own practice, but that of your colleagues and physical therapy as a whole. That's it for today's episode of The Mentorship. In upcoming episodes, we will dive deeper into topics such as what it means to be a mentor, how to become a confident mentor, as well as exploring how to implement a program at your clinic so your team can enjoy the same benefits and successes. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced mentorship in your career? What worked? What didn't? And what do you think could be done better? Reach out to me via email at thementorshippodcast@gmail.com. And if you found this episode valuable, share it with a colleague and leave a review. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, I'm your host, Matthew Haley. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep making a difference.